Hey, everybody, we're back. It's January 2nd, and this is our prediction show for the year. We have so many predictions to get through. I don't want to belabor it here because it's such a great show. So, should we just kick this off?
Spicy takes, we got easy takes, we got tech takes. Let's just get right into it. Here's what we think is going to happen this year.
It's going to be a great show.
Stick with us.
This Week in Startups is brought to you by Notion is one place for notes, docs, projects, and everyday work that goes way beyond a wiki. Get started for free at notion.com/Jason. Embroker's startup insurance program helps startups secure the most important types of insurance at a lower cost and with less hassle. Save up to 20% off of traditional insurance today at embroker.com/twist. While you're there, get an extra 10% off using offer code TWIST. And Fitbod. Tired of doing the same workouts at the gym? Fitbod will build you personalized workouts that help you progress with every set. Get 25% off your subscription or try out the app for free when you sign up now at fitbod.me/twist.
All right, everybody, it's our 2023 predictions episode. This is where Molly and I will make some predictions about what's going to happen this year. Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year, everybody.
January 2nd.
I got my Martinellis. I'm ready to rock.
All right. Yeah, here we go.
Predictions.
Do some predictions. Okay. Let's just get right to it. We don't need to do a big preamble here. What's our first category for predictions?
All right. So we are taking some of the categories from the Twisties, if you listen to that episode, and bringing them over. So, for example, we gave an award to the main character of 2022. And now we want to look at who do we think is going to be a, or even the main character of 2023, the person who dominates the conversation in the tech world, the tech startups, crypto, whatever that world might be. We have some candidates pre-filled, but then we can chat about it. Ideas include Caroline Ellison, the poison ivy of the SBF and FTX story, because she's going to probably testify against Sam Bankman-Fried. We, of course, have Sam Bankman-Fried himself, I think you could argue is
of course. That could
likely
be one,
to be a big character.
Bob Iger coming back to Disney is one. Elon at Twitter is one. That easily comes to mind.
Do we think Adam Newman will be back in the news? Maybe.
I'm not so sure his vision of the world is going to be like, the Flow apartments. It seems like, if he succeeds, great. A bunch of young people are living in cool apartments. Congratulations. I mean, one might argue OpenAI and Microsoft could be the main character. We talked about that.
Make that argument.
I have a little bit of a wild card here.
Ooh.
It's adjacent to SBF. I think Gary Gensler, the head of the SEC, is going to drop a lot of crypto legislation on this. And then I think the other main, I hate to get political here, but, then there's also, Jerome Powell and what happens with interest rates, right?
Yeah.
So those are two main characters that I'm watching, but I'm going to go with Gary Gensler.
I like
the
that.
SEC.
I like that. Yeah,
that's the one I'm watching.
So that's really interesting because I was going to say that I think a main character to consider is a Republican House of Representatives, which is coming in somewhat hostile to big tech for various reasons, right? It's like you have both parties hostile for different reasons, but you've got this kind of new cast of characters coming in with whoever the House Speaker turns out being. You've got the potential for hearings and, committees. So you could
go Lena Khan, right? You could just say Lena Khan, maybe.
I could go Lena Khan. Exactly. You could go Klobuchar if that antitrust bill actually makes any progress. So I wouldn't count out the the deep state, the Congress, or the regulatory framework in the U.S.
So who do you got? You got to make a decision here, Molly. Who is your main character of 2023?
I think it's Elon. I think the main character continues to be Elon in 2023.
I think it's an easy choice. I went with the wild card. Elon would be the easy one for me to say, but I'm close to it, so it's easier for me to go with Gary Gensler.
Exactly.
Most anticipated trend for 2023. Okay, most anticipated trend for 2023.
Yeah.
For me, I've been giving this a lot of thought. I think this is going to be a really rough year because of the recession. I think it's, there's Is it a soft landing, a hard landing? Somewhere in between is probably the likely case. I think it's going to be 3 more quarters of chaos. I've always said 6 quarters was my prediction. And that was quarters 2, 3, and 4, which means it's going to be 1, 2, and 3 of this year. So I think the trend is going to be austerity and focus. So the age of excess giving to the age of austerity, or focus. I don't know which one I would, maybe I'll just combine them. The age of austerity and focus is the trend. Who can be the most focused and, spend the least amount of money to make the biggest impact? I think that's the trend for startups in this next year.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard.
I know. Yeah, no, I think it's going to be hard. I think there's going to, but I do agree with you. Nick has been banding about this phrase, less silly, more dilly, as in more diligence.
Sure. Governance, diligence. That's a good one.
And I think and hope that is, in fact, that, I think that there could be some soul searching and even some, but if I have to distill what you have said into, I think my trend for 2023, it's accountability. And maybe this is like wishful thinking, but I think one of the ways that we have gotten so astray in general in tech, right? In the spending and the investing that created this kind of culture of entitlement and just like bizarre valuations and all of that was that nobody was ever held accountable when they made those mistakes.
Yeah.
And there were some big VC whiffs in 2022. There were some big governance whiffs, some government whiffs, some management whiffs. I think that we are going to start to see people have their feet held to the fire. And I congratulate actually Sequoia for starting that trend in the wake of FTX by apologizing to LPs.
Yeah, we could have done better on diligence.
Firing an investor, like getting rid of one of the people who worked on that deal who was not involved in that governance. And so I actually do think we might start to see a little bit of a return to like, when you do something wrong, you are held accountable for it or you take responsibility.
Your most anticipated trend of 2023 is accountability. I like it. I think we're both going
Hope
with
springs eternal.
Yeah. Okay. Surprising shutdown of 2023. Things that we might shut down. Yeah. I sadly have a company I think that could have a shutdown and a fire sale. And I think that company is Peloton.
I think we're thinking of the same one.
And I don't want that, but I do think, it's just people are in a recession, a $3,000 gym item, a $40, what is it now? $44 or $34. They raised it a couple of bucks. Yeah. Even myself, I was thinking about getting another machine for up here, at the ski house. And I'm like, nah, I'll just go to the local gym or whatever. I'll just ski. I'm not going to get another machine. And it's not a logical choice. It's an emotional choice for me. I just don't want to add expense right now. So I'm looking at my personal balance sheet. I'm looking at the corporate balance sheet. I just don't want to add expense. And that's a big ticket item. That's a big expense. $40 a month, $500 a year, plus $2,000 or $3,000 for one of these devices. I think that they're running out of money. So, I think BuzzFeed was the other one I think was like in serious trouble on the media side. So BuzzFeed Peloton-ish feels really troubling, but I'll go with Peloton. BuzzFeed is my second surprising shutdown of 2023 or fire sale, including fire sale in that.
Yeah, totally.
Corporate shutdown, somebody buys the asset.
I think I'm 100% with you on Peloton. And I wouldn't even say that's like going to be a surprising shutdown. Like, I hate to say. I suspect, and I haven't exactly decided which one, but I think we might see another surprising media shutdown. Like BuzzFeed, again, is very much on that list. But, the way that kind of Politico or Protocol just went poof. Yeah. I would not be entirely shocked if something like an Axios, right? Something that you thought was like, okay, just winked out because that media landscape is getting so hard and so fractured.
Sold, though, so they're part of a bigger institution, right?
So
you think they would say,
but that bigger institution might just be like,
well, I mean, like, what's the value of like a Huffington Post today, right? Like that's been sold twice, maybe, or Business Insider's been sold. So you could see like some of those brands. Somebody might say, you know what? Maybe we'll sunset this brand, or maybe it's just like an SEO play. We'll just let it slowly die out. So, there's Death Watch, and then there's Hospice Watch, right? Like where you just like let a company kind of slowly die. Okay, let's go to Bag Secure.
Yeah, let's do it.
This one for me, I have a little bit of a wild card. I think the Bag Secure is going to be TikTok shareholders, but I have to explain why.
Please do.
I believe that the Chinese owners of this company are going to, under threat of having it banned in the US, are going to sell it. And it's going to become an American company. It's too big to let it die. And I think now we have bipartisan support. We've basically woken up to the fact that this is Chinese spyware on everybody's phones, and it's an incredible user experience, and it's incredibly addicting. And our Cold War with China, that's replacing the Cold War with Russia, because Russia has been essentially, I don't want to say neutered, but there's a thing. I think we realize they're a waning, failed state in many ways. That the Cold War with China. What do you do if you own TikTok shares? You can't let them go to zero. And if they get kicked out of the US, it's a zero. So I think the Chinese investors, which probably include the government, probably owns some of those shares or gets some benefit from them, taxes, whatever. I think they're just going to sell it. So I think everybody who owns shares in that is just going to make a huge payday. Huge payday. TikTok shareholders. I believe it goes public at the end of the year.
Fascinating.
Yeah. Or gets sold to somebody, merged with somebody, Yeah. That kind of thing. Yeah.
Right. So it doesn't disappear from the US market.
No.
I think
it's too big.
That's a good take.
To ban.
Yeah.
Too big to ban.
I agree. I agree. I cannot imagine. And also, I think you give away way too many votes by doing that as any politician. Like, no politicians don't put their name on that.
Who's your bag securer?
So that's funny, because I was going to say that I think Meta could end up being the bag securer as the recipient of the weakening of TikTok. This deliberate campaign to weaken TikTok. Right. So it's like almost the opposite. So even though I kind of don't think it's going to get banned, I wouldn't put it past, either like new rules or changes to the algorithm or forcing a sale in a way that people don't like. And I think that actually Instagram specifically could end up reaping the benefit of all the upheaval at Twitter, of kind of a lack of like really viable competition. Like everybody's been saying, if you're looking for a social media alternative, how funny is it that no one ever mentions Facebook?
Yeah.
But Instagram is making moves in that department. And so if TikTok gets banned, then Instagram is the bag holder, in my opinion.
I'll tell you what I like also about your bag holder, your bag securer for
bag
Facebook.
Securer.
Even if you take out TikTok, the fact that the stock went from 90 or so when I bought it at 94 to 115 or something when he made those 10,000 layoffs, the back channel is there's another rift going on quietly. And it's a performance-based rift, and it will also be 10 to 15%. And that means I think Meta will go to $200 a share again, maybe 150 to 200 a share in the next 6 to 12 months. So we'll be sitting here a year from now with $150 to $200 share Meta. I think it's a great trade.
Yeah.
And I may lean into it, even though I bought at 94 and it's at 118 now. I may put more into it. If that is in fact true, the back channel that we're hearing, the rumblings of this, gentleman's riff, performance-based gentleman's riff, not back to office riff, that to me. So I like your bag securer, but for a different reason. And I like that we have counter 70-30, probably a 60-40. Who knows who's right on the TikTok issue.
But don't count out Meta. They're going to secure the bag.
Hey, listen, if you want your business to be more productive, more cost efficient, and you want to have more impact, you want to do more with less, you need to use Notion. We run our entire business at launch on Notion. Just a quick story. I was looking at a CRM solution because we track thousands of startups every year. And I looked at some, specifically designed CRM software for venture capitalists. It turned out they were wildly expensive. And then somebody on my team said, in Notion, you can create databases. People are already keeping their notes there. Why don't we try building our own CRM inside of Notion where we're already all logged in and working every day? It turned out in 6 weeks, we built the perfect system at a fraction of the cost. It works better. And this is why Notion is changing the world. It is one of the most powerful tools I've ever seen. Whether you're starting a new gym routine, organizing a trip with your friends, or even planning your company's goals, Notion is a flexible, collaborative workspace that helps you make meaningful progress in every part of your life. And I do use it for personal stuff. Get started in seconds by choosing from thousands of templates for every task. Then make it your own. From to-do lists to OKR trackers and so much more, Notion lets you build the exact system you want so you can work the way you work best. So So here's your CTA, a quick call to action. Get started with a free Notion account at notion.com/Jason, my name, notion.com/Jason. Make sure Jason is in all lowercase, notion.com/JASON to get started for free right now. All right, app or tech breakout 2023. What do you got, Molly? What app or technology is going to break out in 2023? Consumers are going to embrace it in some very large way. There's a lot of obvious ideas here. What do you got?
Right. I mean, obviously, there's AI. Right. Like you've got, I thought that 2022 would be the year of mRNA vaccines. We actually got very, very close, I think, to an HIV vaccine in 22. I think they're like on the cusp of literally creating a vaccine for HIV and a cure, which would be incredible. But I think that medical breakthroughs end up taking a lot longer than we often think. So I'm not ready to declare that for 23. But now that we have tools like ChatGPT and whatever Google's going to do, and I suspect that they will be prodded into releasing whatever they've got, either speeding up development on AI, or if the rumors are true that they have a ChatGPT killer that they've just been too afraid to release. I think they do it. I think they set it out into the wild and it changes everything.
Yeah, I think it's text-based AI, augmentation of humans. The Notion, which we went over in a recent episode, Notion adding, that level of AI is truly astounding. The results, it starts on second base if you're writing a blog post or a memo, whatever it is, or you see it in your Gmail where it gives you the next 2 or 3 words. Both of those we're going to see expand into actual usage. So when we're talking about a breakout, I would love to say it's Apple's AR goggles, but those Apple goggles are going to be $2,000, $3,000, whatever the Facebook ones are. It's going to be for elite developers and, people who on the technology cycle are early adopters, like really avant-garde, really early adopters. And so the tip of the spear type people. So I think, we might be sitting here in 24 saying AR is being adopted. I think 23 is going to be about text-based and developer, which, code is text as well. So those two, code and writers, are going to be using not just ChatGPT, that just happens to be the best execution of it.
Right.
I think
Just
Google's and other people's. Yeah. There'll be 10 of them. And I don't know that any one person wins the day on it. So we are in agreement on that. Most shocking, and I guess the way they phrase this is shocking. You could also say notable. So I'll edit this on the fly to say notable / shocking. Newsworthy. CEO, resignation or return, right? We saw Bob Iger come back to Disney. That would have been for last year, obviously, the most notable / shocking. Is there going to be one of those? If there is one of those in 2023, Molly, who would it be for you?
I have 2 options.
Okay.
I think that related to what I said about Meta securing the bag in 2023, it would not surprise me if you see Mark Zuckerberg change his role dramatically. Like either spin off Metaverse and Oculus and make it its own company and become the CEO of that, or retire completely and start something new in that space, or be pushed out. Like, I don't know, but I feel like this is the year when his role could change big time, and it would be shocking without a doubt.
I mean, the obvious one is Bezos coming back. Right. I don't think that's going to happen. He's having a great time. So I don't see it.
I saw a tweet the other day that was like, a lot of CEOs seem to be having a hard time with retirement, but he really has ridden off into the sunset, living his best life. Okay, here's what I want to know. What is Sheryl Sandberg going to be the CEO of in 2023? Like, I could see her
going to be
showing up as a shocking CEO choice.
I think more likely is to see her be part of the cabinet of the next administration. I think that's maybe a more likely possibility.
Yeah.
Now, I know some people feel like maybe the well's been poisoned because of, Cambridge Analytica or whatever. I think people have a short memory. They just remember that she worked at this incredible organization and that she's incredibly well-spoken. So I would see her becoming, a Treasury Secretary, Secretary of State. I don't know which one of those, but something in an administration I could see her doing. I mean, here's a crazy one. I wonder if, given what's happening with ChatGPT to bundle these issues together, if Sundar might maybe make a move out of Google. Maybe, you know, and so I do think that whatever's happening at this moment, then could have some impact on Google with ChatGPT, and you know,
that's very
not
interesting.
making the cuts at Google. Maybe Google stock flounders. Maybe Sundar does his decade and moves on. Who knows? He's
and
been
maybe
with Google since 2004.
You're describing it as somewhat voluntary, but maybe it's not.
Yeah, maybe, I mean, a lot of these things
maybe
might
the pressure
be,
grows because he doesn't seem to be a particularly dynamic. He's not pushing the envelope at Google, and the competition is coming. The ad market is softening.
Yes.
Could be a year for change there. Yeah, that's a good one.
I'm not saying he should. I'm not saying I want him to. I'm not saying he deserves it. I'm just saying change can happen voluntarily, or it could just be the passing of the torch. You know, like maybe he's had his run, and you know, maybe he wants to do something else, right? I don't think that's going to happen with Tim Cook. I don't think it's happening with Satya. But Sundar and the state of Google, maybe change would be good for everybody. So that's just a wild card there. Bezos, I don't think so. The obvious one is, Elon naming a CEO of Twitter, which in 2022 he said he's going to. So that would be most notable, but not surprising.
Can you imagine if he named Cheryl? I'm just saying, that's my I want that to happen. That would be amazing.
Not possible. Yeah.
It would just be so exciting.
It would be, but I just don't think it would happen. Yeah. But you never know. Who knows?
Oh, no. I mean, I'm sure that wouldn't happen, but it would be pretty exciting.
Okay. Most anticipated technology for 2023. This is an easy one for me.
Yeah.
It's an easy one for me because we had Mark from Bloomberg on so many times talking about Apple's AR goggles.
Totally.
And they said it was supposed to come this year, but got pushed back. You know, this is going to drop, at any point in time in 2023. And I use the Facebook ones that have the pass-through. And it does change the experience, I will admit. And they're very powerful. And my motion sickness seemed to take maybe 30 or 40 minutes to kick in, and I took them off. I was playing a Star Wars game, and just at some point I just took them off. I'm like, this is getting nauseous. But I did last 30 minutes, which I'd never done before. Yeah. So I feel like this technology is getting better and better. I don't know what the application is, but AR is going to be the solution.
I want AR so bad. Like I will sprint toward AR. I want to be able to have
which use case?
Like a screen. I mean, I just want it for my like an implant in my eyeball that's like, oh, okay, I'm walking toward my United flight, and here's the flight data right here, and then here's the the map display of the terminal. I want basically a heads-up display on my face all the time. And so, if Apple's AR glasses come out in 2023 and they're even close to that, I will be stoked.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to also have them for replacing my desktop. So, you're on the road. Totally. And you have a keyboard with you, and like literally you just bring, a keyboard, and that's in your backpack. And then your keyboard has a processor and it connects to your goggles. And then I'm typing on my keyboard and I got my mouse, but I am finally doing what they did in that Tom Cruise film, Minority Report. I'm moving the monitors around, and we saw that in a Facebook demo. Although it wasn't a live one, it was just I think they had like a screen grab or screen picture of a woman in front of 3 monitors that were virtual. In other words, the headset was projecting them, but she could see the rest of the world. That to me, the virtual desktop without the physical monitors, think about what that could do for the world. Yeah. You don't have to produce monitors anymore.
Yeah.
Monitors go away.
I love it. And monitors are hugely climate intensive, and like they're just like they're electronic waste. Okay, but I have a different one actually.
Oh, you have a different one.
I do.
Okay.
But for me, the most anticipated technology of 2023, this is so nerdy and right up my alley, is bidirectional charging.
Explain what that is.
It is vehicle to grid charging. So we're starting to see car makers, like EV makers, announce and in fact, it exists already in the Ford Lightning, where you can power your house with your car. So we are seeing, like, as we're talking right now, the bomb cyclone has blanketed the United States, like millions of homes are without power. It's more and more obvious that if extreme weather is this much of a strain on the grid, we do not have the infrastructure for everyone to have an EV in their driveway. But once everybody has an EV in their driveway, they have a little freaking power plant. And so more and more car makers are starting to roll in bidirectional charging, as in you either take power from your house or you put power back into it. And I just think this is how I am about decentralization as the future of everything.
Sure.
This is a huge decentralizing energy storage game changer.
Think what that could do also.
Creep out in 23, but it's going to be huge.
think about Texas when they had that freeze over and their grid just went down for whatever number of days. People died.
Yeah.
If you were in your house and you had a Tesla or a Rivian or whatever car in your driveway, or if you have two of them, like you might just plug your car into your house and at least be able to keep the pipes warm, keep your electric heater running.
Yeah.
And you're good to go.
It's a generator. I mean, it's literally
all over the place.
Batteries full of energy. And in fact, we recently in California, we had a bunch of earthquakes, just like there was a really big one in Humboldt County and then some little shakers around the Bay Area. And I'll tell you, the first thing I did was go and make sure my car was charged because it's cold right now.
Yeah.
And my car is just a big old battery that could keep me warm for a day if I needed it to.
Yeah. Listen, I've been dealing with business insurance for 3 decades. I kid you not. Switching providers has always been a nightmare. Too expensive, takes too much time, and it often doesn't guarantee you're going to get any better coverage. But now you can make switching radically simple with Embroker. Embroker is the perfect destination for industry-tailored commercial insurance. It's business insurance specifically for startups. Yes, you're listening to This Week in Startups. That's why they're here. That's why we're here. Embroker's single application will help your startup get 4 quotes for 4 lines of coverage in but 15 minutes. They match you with expert brokers for unmatched service that goes well beyond your policy. And listen, Embroker is so amazing. I use it. Again, it's just like a testimonial here. I use it. I love it. My team loves it. Makes life easy. Try Embroker today with the code TWIST and you get 10% off their startup package. Embroker.com/twist. Embroker, EMBROKER.com/twist. And use that promo code TWIST for 10% off. We love the product. Thanks for supporting us for so many years here at This Week in Startups. Okay, most anticipated media for 2023.
Oh my God, what?
Very interesting.
Yeah. Okay, and by media, of course, we mean movies, TV shows, new projects. We've talked a lot about what Zaslav's doing.
We need Lon.
We need Lon for this. We should get him to leave us a voice memo.
Yeah, leave us a voice memo. Okay, so my pick, most anticipated for me, is Indiana Jones 5. Obviously grew up on it. Love Temple of Doom, even though it's dark and sadistic and crazy. My 12-year-old boy, 15-year-old boy seeing that film was just like, this is incredible. I don't know exactly what year it came out in, but I loved it. I loved all the Indiana Jones series, even, the crazy Crystal Skull one. So I can't wait. I can't wait
That's
for
really
Indiana Jones. I like Ashoka too. She's one of my favorite characters, having 3 daughters. She's a very unique character that people don't know in the Star Wars canon because she was the Padawan to Anakin Skywalker, who became Darth Vader. She has 2 white lightsabers. She made some cameos in The Mandalorian, and they're going to have a whole series based on her. She is a very important character because she is not a Jedi. She got trained as a Jedi, but she left the Jedi Order, and she's essentially what a samurai would consider a Ronin. She doesn't have an affiliation with the Jedi, although she comes from the Jedi, and she's not a Sith. She just is an independent, force-wielding, Jedi-trained person. And so both of those are big for me. What about you?
I'm going to go with, I really want to see who develops the FTX story and who they cast to play Caroline Ellison. Has not been announced yet, but I'm stoked to see it. And then, because I'm weirdly obsessed with Carolyn going into 2023. I really am.
You think she's the mastermind?
I think she's the silent killer. She's the master.
Yeah.
She's like Christine at Disney.
Oh, yes.
She knifed Chapek all the way through. But dude,
like Jerry.
Succession season 4. Like Jerry. Right. Season 4. So it's season 3, I don't know where they're possibly going to go with season 4, but as a person who worked in one of the media empires that may or may not be occasionally portrayed here, it was it's either the Murdoch Empire or it's the Redstones. But there's so much dishy, crappy media stuff in there that frankly, I just cannot wait for Succession to come back.
Succession would be high on my list as well. Okay, let's do some over-unders, Molly. Over-unders.
Okay.
The producer set the line for The Sentence. Over-under 30.5 for SBF. Fairly easy for me. I'm taking the over. I think he gets life. I know I'm crazy.
Yeah,
I think The Sentence is over 30.5. I'm going for the life sentence. Maybe with good behavior, he gets out a little early, but
yeah,
I think the sentence itself, 100 years, kind of like Madoff, kind of got 150 or something crazy like that. I think it's going to be in that range.
Interesting.
Life in prison. Definitely over 30.
I'm going to go with the under.
Okay.
because I think although the dollar amounts are high, the damage isn't that widespread. You don't have like retirees, with having lost everything. Like he didn't wipe out. I think that there's going to be a question of the harm.
Got it.
And that the sentencing will be commensurate.
Sure. Okay, Caroline Ellison, over under 10.5 year sentence. What do you got? Over or under? Because she flipped.
She flipped, yeah.
She flipped early.
And her name has not shown up on as many things. So I'm going to take the under on that one too. I think my girl's getting 7.5.
I was going to say 7, 8. Yeah, it feels like she's gonna get a light sentence for flipping and giving the goods.
Yeah.
Okay, Oppenheimer is the new Christopher Nolan movie, over under $750 million at the box office.
What?
That's a big number.
Nothing's making $750 million at the box office.
No, I mean Maverick made $2 billion, right?
Avatar. So that's like over the course of the year.
It's the total box office. Yeah, it's usually a year global box office. I'm going to go over on that. It's by a hair.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah. I'm going to go over.
Okay.
People are excited to get back to the movies.
I think so. I think it's like, especially for spectacles. Okay. How many months left of recession starting on January 1st? Over under 21 months. AKA does not end before or after Q4 of 2024. I'm taking the under. I think we'll be in the recession for 3 or 4 quarters in 2023, and then we'll be out of it by Q1. So I'm going to say under 21 months.
Yeah, I'm going under also. I think that we are already in the recession and have been. So I actually think we have time served.
Yeah, I mean, we have
and
growth,
that we're going to come out.
Right? But we also have, it's clear we're in some sort of down market. It's a hard to define recession. So
it is, yeah. And China's letting her rip with COVID right now. God help them.
Here we go. Hottest take for 2023. Okay, hottest take. What is your hottest take for 2023? I have a hot take, but let's see if you have one. I can filibuster for you, or I can let you go.
I have a super random hot take that's not related to tech, which is that by 2023, we're going to be talking about like rearranging the American schedule to move winter holidays to the summer and to take time off in the winter. Yeah, I think that this year of like sickness and viruses and weather disruption is going to start a national conversation about like flipping the year.
Fascinating.
But my real prediction,
my
real hot take is that it's not even that hot. I just think that like enough with the crypto mashugana, a bunch of the money that went into crypto, sure, like some of it's going to go to AI, but I think climate is going to be the investing opportunity of 23 and beyond, like without question. Without question, it's the next bubble.
I think my hottest take, this is for hottest take for 2023, I think 2023 is going to be the best vintage of venture investing in the last, 10 years, and maybe even going forward a couple years. 23 and 24, those 2 years are when the next Googles, Ubers, et cetera, will be available for purchase, whether companies already exist and they're in year 3 or 4, of their existence, or they get started in those years. It is going to be the best time to deploy capital as a private market investor. So that's why I'm super excited about 2023. Those people brave enough to invest in companies, I think will be rewarded. Those people brave enough to run companies or make the cuts to keep their companies alive will be rewarded. So the best time to build and place bets, that's my hottest take for 2023 in the recession. I know it's crazy to think about deploying capital into startups in a recession, but I learned this in 2010, it's kind of made my bones. So there it is. That's my hot take. I also think Trump's going to win the nomination. I think Trump's going to surge. And I think he's going to beat DeSantis. And that's not what I want. But I'm sorry to put a lemon. It looked like you just got the lemon.
I mean, no, I think he's going to go to jail. So
okay, so there it is.
Yeah.
so there's an even hotter take.
That's actually probably
it's either a nightmare for
my
libs.
Actual hottest take is that
it's a nightmare for libs, or it's going to be dancing in the streets. God,
I mean, that might be a nightmare for libs too, but like
him going to jail is not a nightmare for libs, but him winning the nomination. This is the debate I had with Sachs.
I think that's awesome for libs.
When I bring up Trump, He wants me to stop talking about Trump on the All In pod because, you know, they really are concerned that if Trump wins the nomination, they lose the election, right?
Exactly. So it's great for libs if he wins the nomination.
It's great for libs, which is why libs backed some Trump candidates, right? They gave donations in like a couple of those states to kind of they literally, Democrats cynically backed Trump candidates knowing that they would lose. It's so genius. Exactly. It's so sinister.
It's so sinister.
So actually, how do you feel about that? I'm like, it's the most cynical thing I could ever imagine. Well played.
Like, He's well played, okay, fair
enough. I love that.
I love these competing takes though. This is a good one. Does he win or does he go to jail or both? I would not put it past debate. I wouldn't put it past today's Republican Party to nominate the guy, even if he's indicted and in jail.
I think he's running. If he's
indicted, for sure. I don't think he's really even running.
Clearly, he's running.
He's running. He doesn't have a campaign.
To not get indicted. Because he can be like, I'm running, can't indict me.
He's dreaming.
You know?
Yeah.
You know, I've been on a health kick over the past year, and part of that health kick is the greatest fitness app in the world, Fitbod. And if you're listening to me right now, you probably care about optimization, right? Saving time, doing things perfectly, and data-driven solutions. You know what? Fitness hasn't had these things until Fitbod. Fitbod is a data-driven workout app. It blends machine learning with exercise science. They create a custom dynamic program for you based on your fitness goals, based on your experience, and think about this, your available equipment, right? Maybe you're in a hotel, maybe you're at an Airbnb, maybe you're at a Blue Ground, and you need to use the equipment you have. They're going to maximize your fitness gains by varying the intensity and the volume between sessions as well. And they make these beautiful visualizations of your body and how utilized your muscles are. So let's check out this demo. Let's say I want to get a 30-minute workout in, and I want to work on my chest, triceps, and my abs, but I'm staying at some, rental, and there's no equipment. Well, they'll create a perfectly optimized workout based on those parameters. Let's say I'm in another, hotel, and they got a bunch of kettlebells. Well, you go to another location, and you got those pulley machines. They're going to make a perfect workout for you. It's amazing. It is one of the most beautiful apps ever made. They get featured by Apple all the time. Fitbod takes the guesswork out of fitness. Just open the app and start making progress. Get 25% off your Fitbod subscription or try out the app for free when you sign up now at fitbod.me/twist. That's fitbod.me/twist for 25% off. In venture capital category.
Let's do a couple of these. This is
any VCs, a yes or no question.
This is dishy.
Will any VCs be charged in a crypto-related crime, Molly? Charged. This isn't found guilty. This is charged. I say yes. Because it's a charge. Now they could settle. So it could be I'm going to interpret this as the threat of a charge or a settlement.
Yeah.
In the same way we saw Kim Kardashian settle.
Okay.
Right? So, in other words, an SEC action against a VC. Yeah. I say yes. I
also say yes. I really do. I think that the token shenanigans and Gensler is making it very clear that his position is, I told you the rules, and if you did not follow those rules, that is on you. These are securities.
Okay. Will total VC capital raised from LPs fall off a cliff in 2023? Through Q3 of 2022, 593 VC funds raised $150 billion. PitchBook data.
Compared to 2021,
1,100 raised almost 150 in all of 2021.
The whole year. Okay.
The whole year. So many more funds, but for the same amount. So what's going to happen in 2023? Is it up or down for from 2022 to 2023?
Yeah. I see no reason why it wouldn't be up. There's still a lot of money.
Okay. You want to, I don't know. You don't even need to expand. I mean, you think it's going to be up slightly, up massively?
I think it'll be up slightly. I think that the trend will, because this is like Q3 numbers, right? I don't think that Q4 it's going to fall off a cliff. I think it's going to continue to accelerate through the end of the year. Same axis though.
I'm just going to go with flat. I'm going to go with flat. Flat to down is what I would say. Yeah. Flat to moderately down is my prediction, because I do think a lot of LPs are going to want to get some money back. And so they might just, some of them might just pause. And then I think a lot of the VC funds, like you see, there's 1,100 new ones in 2021, 593 so far this year. I think there's going to be a lot of funds that are unable to raise, and they become, just like some companies become zombie companies, they'll be zombie funds. They don't have money to deploy, but they have a portfolio to manage. And so they have to just stick around managing the portfolio, but they lay off all their staff. And maybe one person takes the management fees and just shepherds those companies. And then who knows if they are able to in 2023 to raise a fund. So we did see that happen in other busts.
Absolutely.
Where you'd have VC firms.
I should probably clarify the differentiation. I think the amount of money will continue to flow into VC, but into fewer funds. I 100% think that everybody hung out a shingle in the last 6 or 7 years and was like, I'm a VC now and I'm a fund. And I think that could get ugly for sure. But I don't see the money into this asset class reducing. That
will be the trend. I think we'll see of those hundreds of VC funds that were raised in 2020 and 2021. They deployed in the peak market. They returned nothing to investors. They are DQ'd, disqualified from raising in 2023. If you didn't return during the peak market, people are going to be like, well, when would you return if you didn't return during the peak market? Okay, over-unders. Here we go. Yeah. $194 million in total seed deals through Q3 in 2023.
So that was
and that was exactly 2022's number. So do you, in other words, in the first 3 quarters, will we see more or less deployed in 2023 in seed deal?
Yeah.
More or less?
Less.
I have a strong feeling on this. I say less.
Yeah.
I say it would be less. Now, for 2 reasons. One, there might be less companies to deploy it in, and people might be raising smaller amounts at smaller valuations. So they'll be more capital efficient. Instead of hiring 50 people, they'll hire 25, to do the same, right? And they'll just be more the age of excess given to the age of austerity and efficiency.
And and VCs will be and are, at least judging from our conversations, more discerning. You got to be stronger if you want to raise in this environment because we don't want to see you die.
Yeah. 3,900 total seed deals through Q3 2023. In other words, for the first 3, which is the same as last year. So will last year's, for the first 3 quarters, will it be more or less seed deals? I say it will be less seed deals because there'll be less entrepreneurs.
Yeah, totally.
Less people.
For the same reason it would be, definitely. Yeah.
Okay. The average.
By the way, it's fewer.
Fewer. Thank you. Fewer.
I'm the worst.
That's right.
All right.
10.5
so now we have, amounts.
Is the average seed deal valuation this year. What do we think the average seed deal valuation in 2023 will be? Up, down?
Yeah, I mean, obviously down.
Yeah.
I feel like the bigger question is how far down? Like, do we go all the way down to
like 9
6,
or something?
7? Yeah.
9. I think it'll go down like 10%. Yeah. I think it's, when you're at these seed deals, it's like we're putting in 2 million, we're putting in $1 million for 10%, for 15%. It all comes out in the wash. So if you love the company at 8, 9, 10, or 11, it probably doesn't make a difference. You don't need to have too much discipline there. You love the company, you're getting in for 8 to 12 $1 million valuation. Most VCs are not going to care.
I got another spicy take related to this. Another hot take.
Go ahead.
I think atoms are going to be more in.
Oh, okay.
Because of saturation, I think you'll start to see a little bit of a return to real world stuff.
Okay, great. What startup will make the biggest impact in 2023? We talked about last year, Be Real, Anduril, TikTok.
Yeah.
What do you think 2023's will be?
I mean, obviously, you cannot go into 2023 without talking about OpenAI.
Sure.
But I would not take my eyes off of some of these big, interesting energy-related startups. Like, I wouldn't take my eyes off Commonwealth Fusion. Considering the breakthrough that was just announced on the government side with Fusion, or even like an Arcadia, which is, like a unicorn that's kind of revolutionizing energy use. I think somebody who figures that out, especially given the like huge challenges with the grid during the bomb cyclone storm in December there, I think energy is going to be a hot topic and that there will be a really impactful startup in that space.
Okay. Energy sounds like a good one. I'm going to, this is a hard one. It's easy to say, AI, OpenAI, that kind of stuff. But I think robotics could be general robotics combined with AI. And so I'm going to go with Tesla's robot. They showed it. I was at the developer day when they showed it, their AI day rather. And, people were like, okay, Boston Dynamics, more impressive. Okay, but you're doing it. I just think the fact that they are going to have these general interest Tesla robots at the factories doing real work, and what they've learned from self-driving is very analogous to walking around, avoiding obstacles, all that stuff
Right.
they're putting in self-driving cars. It's the same and easier for, the optimists or whatever they're calling, whatever Elon's calling it. So anyway, I'm going to take a wild card there.
I like
think
that
the
one.
Tesla bot is going to be the one that could have the biggest impact. In other words, it starts working in the factory, people see it doing stuff, and then people start ordering them, and people start their own. Like, why wouldn't Amazon then create a competing one? Because they already have the floor robots. So a standing robot is the next thing. And then we might be seeing in the coming years, your delivery packages, getting off a truck. It might be, you have a driver for the truck, and then you've got in the back of the truck, a general interest robot carrying stuff off the back of the truck and handing it to a human or handing it to you at your front door.
Jesus. I mean, if that comes by 23, that's going to be bananas.
No,
I like that.
I think
That's a flyer, and I'm into it.
I think it'll have, so this was phrased as biggest impact. I think we'll see like an example of it. Just like Cafe X shows you an example of it. Then people are going to see an example of it, and it's going to inspire a wave of innovation, just like ChatGPT is inspiring a wave of innovation. So that's how I'm interpreting the question, biggest impact in 2023.
Super fun.
Overrated, hot new vertical, Molly. For 2023, we would agree things like 15-minute delivery and
we're the ones. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, probably not big ones. I have what do you think will be overrated? Overrated.
I mean, ironically, it could also be Fusion. Fusion could either be the most impactful or the most overrated.
I like that.
It's one or the other, right? It's going to be one or the other, the most or the least. But despite everything we have said about AI, I think there's going to be in my first year as a climate investor, I felt like I was fighting with crypto all the time. Mm-hmm. I think in my second year as a climate investor, I'm going to feel like I'm fighting with AI and generative AI all the time. And I think that despite it being amazing and a game changer, that once AI hits the real world, it's going to have the same problems. Like ChatGPT connected to the internet is going to have the same problems that have stopped Google from releasing it so far. So I actually think that's going to probably be pretty overhyped, because you can get 80% of the way there, but the last 20% is just like autonomous driving. The last 20% is what kills you, literally.
Yeah, exactly. My overhyped is going to be AR. Because Apple released the goggles.
Yeah.
People will not have use cases for it. So very similar to like when the iPad came out, or the watch, or 15-minute delivery, or, DAOs or some crypto project. Everybody's going to be very hyped about AR, but they're not going to use it yet. It's going to be too early. It's going to be too expensive. And so the hype cycle will be very similar to the VR one, where if you remember, people were buying PCs and hooking up 20 different Oculus devices. It's just going to be like people are going to lose their minds, and then it will go through that little trial of despair while people try to figure out what applications and why they should buy this $2,500 device or $1,500 device.
Yeah.
So
it's a great one.
It will go through a little overhypeness, and they probably won't be available in some large way is the other probable thing. There might be a waiting list for them.
Well, there won't be very much software. It'll just be like 8K TVs or something. Remember when everybody doesn't have 3D TVs?
Yeah. And it was like,
my son watched the Harold and Kumar 3D Christmas movie the other day. To watch 3D without 3D is hilarious.
Oh, okay.
Talk about an artifact, like a moment in time.
Yes.
When everybody thought there were going to be 3D TVs at your house. And so now you can stream movies on Netflix that have this BS. I mean, I never thought so. Everybody was like, no, you're not going to do that at home. I think AR is going to fall into the same category.
Will fundraising landscape be better or worse this time next year? Better or worse this time next year? So they were saying, our producers here in terms of predictions, at the end of next year will be better or worse than this time.
Well, what is better or worse?
Really two ways to say
founders. For founders.
So let's ask this two different ways. Overall, 2023 versus 2022. Will 2023 be harder overall when compared to 2022, or easier? 2022 has been pretty hard, obviously.
Yeah.
So then, do you think it'll be harder or easier?
I think it's going to be harder. I mean, there's first of all, there's the actual reality of it being harder. And then there's the groupthink part of it. Everyone is like, it's harder. So it will be harder.
Okay. Over unders. Launch investments. Oh, that's for us.
At
100. Of 100. I'm going to go under. Slightly
under 100.
this is such a good line because
It is a
the
good
wild
line.
card is Founder University and, the accelerator. So being able to keep scaling those.
Yeah.
So that could be, we're including follow-ons. And if we include follow-ons, I say over. Yeah, I'll go with over if it's including follow-ons. New impactful. You want to take a guess there?
I trust your boss.
Yeah, exactly. It's
over.
kind of like bias.
Sounds great.
I don't know what the boss say.
Like, what?
Okay. No, I'm going to go against the boss. I think you're going to underperform, Jake.
I know.
Your leadership of this organization sucks.
If you decide to stop at 99, then yes.
Okay, new impactful social media apps that jump on the scene. Okay, how many B-Reels will there be next year? They set the over-under at 3.
Or breakout B-Reels even.
Breakout is B-Reel or paparazzi. I say under. I think there's always 1 or 2 of these. I don't think there's 3. I can't name 3 from the last year.
I can really, no. And paparazzi barely made a dent. That's only in our little world. Yeah, I think interest in social media is going to, as a thing that you want to launch, is really going to wane because there's so much regulation. There's going to be ongoing talk of privacy. There's like Twitter backlash. There's just this. There's also this like growing realization that social media is kind of net negative. So even trying to start one that's like better, I think is unlikely. I actually think you're going to see an exodus from that space. Like I think people are going to be like, no, content management, not for me. I'm out.
Okay, here we go. They want us to do the big 5 tech companies: Amazon, Apple, Google, Meta, Microsoft, only for these. Which one of these will perform best by stock price and which one will be worst?
Okay. All right.
Which will be best?
Amazon, Apple, Google, Meta, Microsoft, as measured by stock price appreciation. See, this is tricky because I have the one I think is going to do the best, but it might not be the best by stock prices appreciation.
Okay, explain.
Okay, so I think Microsoft is going to be the best performer of 2023. I just think they're doing everything right. However, I don't think their stock has lost as much ground as Meta.
Right.
And I think Meta, as we discussed, is poised for a bounce.
Okay.
So it's going to be very irritating to me that actually Meta is probably going to pull it out here.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to go with Meta as well. I said it earlier. I think that they're going to take the medicine. I don't think Zuck likes losing. So I think he's going to take the medicine. Which big tech stock will perform the worst in 2022 out of this group by stock appreciation? Gosh, I think it's going to be Google. I think the ad headwinds are going to be brutal and it's an ad-based business. So I got to go Google. But I might think Apple might have a hard time too. But people love Apple. It's a darling and it's gotten beat up recently. So I'm going to go Google. I think Google's going to have a hard time with the chat GPT sentiment and advertising being off. So
right. I'm going to go Amazon.
Go Amazon. Okay. Why? Consumer getting weak, cloud computing getting cut.
Get weak. There's a little more. I think cloud spending might get cut. I think AWS is it. Like interestingly, it's a non-diversified company right now, and you know how I feel about the amount of money that they're spending into content, which is a black hole, and I think they haven't learned that tough lesson yet.
Which consumer startup will perform best in 2022, measured by stock price appreciation? Airbnb, Uber, Spotify, or other? Airbnb, I think, has been fully priced. I think they did so good that they got fully priced. I think Spotify is a really tough business because they give so much money to the music. So I'd go with Uber. I'm talking my book in a major way here, but I think Uber is going to do a significant riff. They said they weren't going to do a riff. I think they're going to be forced to. And I think when they do, and they'll be clearly in the Airbnb money printing, whereas they're free cash flow now, but kind of like, are they still people debating, are they actually profitable? Are they profitable enough? I think they're just going to rip the Band-Aid off, riff 15, 20% of the company, cut some more costs, whether it's stock-based compensation, whatever, and just immediately get to profitability and then start being perceived like Airbnb as a $100 billion company as opposed to a $50 billion company. Get back to being a $60, $70 share as opposed to a $25 share. So I'm going, Uber, what do you got?
This isn't even my book, and I think this is a no-brainer. And I don't think you can even... We have not priced in the fact that like a lot of people are still not traveling and they will be soon.
Oh, that's true.
A friend of mine actually who lives in the Netherlands just posted on Instagram. She's like, I will be starting to travel again in 2023. This is going to be the year that I think a lot of people who are on the fence, a lot of conferences that were still hybrid, right? You're still seeing a lot of virtual conferences. Like travel, business travel is only going to increase in 2023. And that is all good news for Uber. So I think you start to see, they'd gotten to the point where it was like parity now with the rides and the deliveries. And then I think you will start to see in 23 rides shoot up. Yeah.
Okay.
Big year for Uber.
Big year for Uber. Okay.
I own like 50 shares too, so I'm freaking stoked.
Is Zuckerberg still Meta CEO at the end of 2023? I say yes.
I say no.
Before too, there's a possibility of no, but
yeah,
I go yes.
Look, it's crazy talk. I predicted the same thing like 5 years ago. 1 year, just like on a random, like on a flyer, I was like, he's gonna be out. This could be the year. If they don't continue to take the medicine and they don't make metaverse cuts, like I think he's going to be under a lot of pressure. And frankly, I don't think he wants to do it. He doesn't want to do the Facebook stuff anymore.
Okay, let's go right to IPOs.
Okay.
Over under 177. Number of IPOs past 4 years. 2019, 232. 2020, 480. 2021, 1035. 2022, 177. So they're saying, basically, will there be more IPOs next year than this year? That's a great one.
We talked about on the Tuesday show
direct listings.
Last week. We talked last week about direct listings. That could juice this number a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I think so under 22, which was like in the tank.
Yes.
I think it's going to be over 2022, but not much over because I think it's still going to be like a pretty flat year on the stock market.
Yeah. Okay, there it is. When VR is set to replace the iPhone.
I think never. I still think never. I think we will get implants. Here's my hottest take on VR. We'll get implants, AR implants before VR replaces the iPhone. Like there will be some sort of ambient computing solution that we still have not figured out yet.
Sounds good.
But nobody's wearing glasses everywhere. No.
Yeah, I just think the glasses,
just a no.
You look like a dork unless they're sunglasses. I have the Bose Sound sunglasses, which I love because when I'm with the kids or something and they're playing in the park, I could listen to a podcast on the sunglasses and hear it. Other people can't hear it. And I can have a conversation with people and I can lower it with my finger. These Bose sunglasses are dope.
I mean, AR will. In 5 years, AR will have replaced the iPhone.
Yeah. So VR, that's what
no.
Yeah. So I'm a hard no on VR. I'm a hard yes on AR, but I'm a hard yes like AR 10 years from now. I don't know when they become sunglass light. Is that 5 years from now or 10?
That's like I'm not sure. That hard.
Like I think we're in the brick cell phone mode. What do you think?
We are, but I don't think it's that. They're like Facebook did those glasses that have a camera. I don't think we're that far away from being able to miniaturize. I think it's the software and the experience that's still the hard part. I would go 5. I think in 5 years, nerds like us will be wearing glasses instead of looking at our phones and our neck pain will be gone and it will be amazing. Let me please have this immediately.
Yeah. Okay. There you have it, folks. That is our predictions for the year and we will see you tomorrow with just regular news. We're back to the grind.
We can guarantee you one thing. We'll still be here rocking it, having an awesome 2023.
Yeah. We're going to fight. We're going to fight through this recession. We'll be here. Great time to start a company. Great time to invest in companies. The bottom of the market is where the fortunes are made, in my experience. Your mileage may vary, but I believe fortunes are made in the down market and they're collected in the up market. Welcome to the down market, Molly. Now you're starting the race at mile number 1, right?
Let's get to
the
work.
Beginning of the marathon.
It's awesome.
So congratulations.
It's a new year. Let's get to work. Let's
do the work.
Bye-bye.